Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, February 20, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below, let me know that that's been like in your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us, according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer models that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place as we head into Friday. What's going to be taking place on Friday morning, according to the Euro, is that there are going to be some greens that represent some isolated shores across the eastern end of the island, maybe even northeastern parishes. And then by Friday afternoon, maybe across sections of some southwestern parishes. And we also see the line of shores associated with that frontal system extending from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into the Bahamas, Cuba, and into portions of Central America. Heading into Saturday, we see that northeastern parishes are still going to be getting in on the morning rainfall, then affecting sections of some central and western parishes during Saturday afternoon. Sunday morning, we see something similar with northeastern Jamaica in the morning. Sunday afternoon, southern Jamaica getting in on the rainfall. Monday morning, not seeing much of anything for the early morning, but we see some rainfall right here. 12Z on Monday is actually 7 a.m. and we can actually see some greens right here to the east of us. Then by Monday afternoon, look at all of this rainfall stretching from east to west across the island. Very interesting. What's going to be taking place on Tuesday? Let's see, not seeing much, but look at all of the moisture associated with a strong frontal system right here across the northwestern Caribbean, the Cayman Islands, section of Honduras, Cuba, the Bahamas getting in on some of that. And we see a mixture of those dark greens into the yellows. Represents anywhere from 3 to 5 to even maybe 6 to 8 inches of rainfall. Very interesting. Heading into Tuesday afternoon, we see some isolated showers in the greens across sections of some southern parishes. Let's see what's going to be taking place on Wednesday. Look at this. Most of the moisture that we saw in the northwestern Caribbean has come down closer to Jamaica, but it's not as robust, definitely dissipating right there. But Wednesday afternoon seems like it's going to be bringing some amount of isolated showers across portion of the island. We'll see what actually goes. Either way, in terms of the end of the run, at the 168 hour mark, we see that Thursday, February 27 shows that we could get some isolated shores in and around the island. We're not seeing much across the island, but definitely around us, especially to our south. Let us match this latest Euro model run to the latest GFS to see if we have some consensus. Let's see if we have agreement. Alright, Friday morning, look at the abundance of moisture surrounding the island. We'll see how it actually unfolds. Friday afternoon, maybe sections of some, let's say, southern or southwestern parishes getting in on the action. 0-0 on Saturday is actually 7 p.m. on Friday. We'll see how it actually goes. Saturday morning now, just like what the Euro model was showing, definitely northeastern parishes getting in on the action, especially during the morning hours. Sunday, something similar. Sunday afternoon, southern and western parishes. Let's see what's going to be taking place on Monday, just like what the Euro was showing. Maybe some isolated shores across the far east or the waters to the east of us on Monday morning. Then Monday afternoon, maybe section of some northern and western parishes. Let's see what's going to be taking place on Tuesday. Tuesday morning, we see an abundance of moisture. Look at all of this moisture across the Bahamas, eastern portion of the Gulf into the northwestern Caribbean. Not really much of it affecting Jamaica. But by the end of the day on Tuesday, not seeing much of anything at all. Heading into Wednesday, what do we see? Maybe some isolated showers in and around the island. We'll see it actually goes. By the end of the day on Thursday, now look at this. Maybe some isolated showers across sections of the island. But we're going too far out. Either way, we're stopping right there. And both the Euro and the GFS models are adamant that the waters to the south of the island are going to be getting on some amount of rainfall by the end of the 168 hours, the end of the next 7 days. That's Thursday, February 27. We'll see it actually goes, and whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. If we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 5 to 7 days, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS models are adamant that there's going to be an abundance of rainfall across the Western Hemisphere over the next 7 days. Both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are definitely showing an abundance of rainfall. I know the abundance of rainfall is represented by the reds into the burgundies, as well as the purples into the pinks, all of which represent 1 to 2, maybe all the way up to 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. And we see that clearly for these areas, such as the waters of the Gulf of Mexico into portion of Florida, the Bahamas. You can also see sections of the Yucatan, sections of Honduras, eastern Nicaragua getting in on some of the action. We also see sections of Costa Rica, Panama, section of Colombia getting in on some of the rainfall. We can see some rainfall across eastern Cuba, sections of Haiti, southern portions of the Dominican Republic, eastern Puerto Rico, anywhere from Guadeloupe southward, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, section of Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago getting on some of the action. And if we match this latest Euro to the latest GFS, we definitely have the consensus with the total accumulated precipitation, and we can clearly see that the most rainfall over the next 7 days are shaded, or have the areas shaded in the dark reds into the purples into the pinks, getting the most rain. So there could be some amount of isolated flash flooding in these spots for sure, and we just hope that the persons who reside in those areas are taking the necessary precautions so that they're not that drastically affected by what's to come. But we're going to be looking at Jamaica's close-up in terms of our total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days. We can see that the most rainfall from now all the way up until Thursday, February 27 should be plaguing sections of some northern and northeastern parishes for sure, section of St. Mary, Portland into section of St. Thomas, and especially Portland where we see the greens into the yellows. That represents anywhere from 15 to 30 all the way up to maybe even 40 millimeters of rainfall on the Euro. GFS a bit more reserved, just a bit less, just down to at least 32 millimeters of rainfall. We will see how it actually unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Either way, we see that there's gonna be rainfall as represented by blues extending from the east-west all across the island. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a ridge of high pressure right here across the northern portion of North Atlantic that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can see to the east of this high pressure dome, we have a cold front right here as represented by the blue spike line. We can also see another frontal system right here extending from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into portions of northwestern Cuba, the Bahamas, getting in on some of the action as well. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can kind of make out the entities. I mean, the high pressure dome is right here, and we can see the line of clouds associated with the frontal system right here to the southeast of it. We can even make out the clouds associated with the frontal system, but the clouds are more so somewhere right in here. Let me draw this even better. So the clouds associated with the frontal system somewhere right in here, extending into portions of Central America. We can see the clouds quickly moving off towards the east, and we can see the upper level wind shear associated with all of that. Can definitely see it right here across the Western Caribbean. And we can also see the low level flow of the low level clouds and mid level clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure right here to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Thursday, February 2025. It was stated that rain was in the forecast for parts of eastern Jamaica on Thursday morning, also affecting sections of some northern and western parishes during Thursday afternoon. And we know eastern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Western Jamaica, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. While northern Jamaica, you know, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. And what ended up happening? As early as 4:17 a.m., the visible satellite, well, not the visible satellite images, but the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Doppler radar, that's the military radar from the US, was showing some light to moderate, even some slightly heavy rainfall coming in from the east. It was already affecting portion of the western peninsula of Haiti, and we could see the motion pushing all of this from east to west. I know I definitely got some sprinkles this morning in my portion of St. Thomas for sure. And then as the day progressed, we still had some more clouds coming in from the east. I mean, another post was made here on our Twitter page at around 12:46 p.m. highlighting some clouds, bring some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers. The section of Portland, St. Mary, northern St. Catherine, section of Kingston and St. Andrew definitely got in on the overcast skies, if not some amount of isolated showers for sure. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but they're made on our Instagram page with the .Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So if we take a look at the visible satellite images though, even although no post was made in the afternoon, there was action across western Jamaica. We saw the clouds building across sections of western Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, northwestern St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland for sure. We saw the clouds piling up. Definitely across those areas that we claimed it would have across northern and western parishes, but it was more so northwestern Jamaica for sure. We saw the clouds. They definitely brought some overcast skies, if not some amount of isolated showers for sure across the western end of the island before all was said and done with the day. Then we saw that everything was clearing out for sure. And if we take a look at the visible the infrared close-up satellite images, we can see everything clearing out. We can also see some clouds right here across the western end. A very interesting forecast in general. And if we take a look right here at the Barbican camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the live stream at around 1:03 p.m. we're definitely getting in on some isolated shower activity. I think we can make out one individual right here walking with an umbrella. We can also make out a vehicle right here on the far right hand corner of your screen with the windshield wiper on. Just some light rainfall at the time, but I'm sure that they were grateful for the overcast skies, if not the isolated showers, to bring down the temperatures over there. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica's YouTube channel. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Alright, so we're going to be taking a look at what some of the comments are showing here. We have Ben Love 8520 stating sunny in his area this morning. We also have Vodka underscore and underscore vibes underscore city, and a little bit of rain just dropping. I'm loving it. Thank you for confirming the rainfall in your area. We also have Felicia Fendi stating hot in Maypen and a bit windy. And finally we have Carty Shakespeare stating raining in Mona, and I definitely saw that rainfall in Mona when I was downtown and looking north. Taking a look at the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website about what's happening across Jamaica right now. The latest still image is as of 0015 UTC, which is actually 7:15 p.m. So this just came out 13 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:28 p.m. now. Not seeing much of anything across eastern and central Jamaica, but we're still making out some milky whitish shades associated with some cloud cover across the western end of the island, even to the west of us across the waters. Unfortunately, we don't have the Cuban Doppler radar to show. Still glitched out. Jamaican Doppler radar still glitched out. We have to be dependent on the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar images still right here. There's some isolated shores across portion of eastern Cuba, the western peninsula of Haiti, Not seeing much of anything at all across northeastern Jamaica. But if we take a look at the Cayman radar, not seeing much of anything across the southern portion of Cuba. Maybe some isolated shores exiting the western end of the island. We saw some dots of blues popping up here and there. And we can make out some isolated shores across the waters to the south, east, and the west of Grand Cayman right here. Definitely stalling out, lingering as we speak. Taking a look at what's happening right now at 7:30 p.m. across the Bogwalk Gorge. We can see people in their vehicles going about their business. We can see that the Rio Cobra definitely chilling. No rushing water at this time because we don't have much in the way of rainfall these days. Definitely dry conditions for sure. But whatever rainfall that we've been getting, we are definitely grateful. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can still have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Friday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Friday, and we can see Jamaica right here, embedded in some slight yellow colors that we can see from the key on the right. That represents up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. And we can see a lot of below normal temperatures associated with the backside of this frontal system across the United States. Look at all of the blues into greens, into purples. Definitely below average. That represents the most robust thing on the scale right here on the key on the right. Got it heading all the way down into the purples too, into the pinks. You can see it. Very cold across the US as we speak. If you have friends or relatives, contact them. Let them know that you're here for them. Because trust me, it's going to be cold over there. But Jamaica is going to be up to at least 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures for us on Friday. And we know the normal temperature for the month of February across Jamaica is around 86.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 30.1 degrees Celsius. So that's basically the temperature that's going to be, experienced across the island. Anywhere from 30.1 to 31.1 degrees Celsius at most. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what my JPS Online's Twitter page is showing us. We know that we have to highlight these because when we have power outages, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have your friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way for Friday, February 21, 2025. And we're referring to Pear Tree River, Arcadia, Bowden, Old Pira, New Pira, Winchester, Stokesall, Duckenfield, Golden Grove, Hampton Court, and Dalvey in the parish of St. Thomas from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're also referring to Conmel to Belfield in the parish of St. Mary from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're also referring to Craig Top in St. Elizabeth from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Broadgate Junction Main Road in St. Mary from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Cold Spring to Thompson Hill from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Lipscomb Avenue, sections of Seaview Road and roads leading off in St. Andrew from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, as usual, we have some tips right here to beat the heat. It states here, dress down. It's going to be Friday. Dress down for sure. Wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors, and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest part of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Even if you're not thirsty, drink lots of water throughout your day and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we know the dry air is definitely blanketing the entire Atlantic basin as we speak. You can see the most dry air right here off the coast of Africa. And the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it hard for it to rain these days. But what we're seeing across a portion of the Bahamas into the Western Caribbean is the low end of the scale in terms of dry air. We're seeing more yellows. So the air is definitely moist across our neck of the woods, which explains the few isolated showers that we've been receiving. And we're grateful for that. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Friday, you can clearly see that North America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, Northern South America, and Central America are in the clear for the most part. But we can make out the slight brown shades. They represent the Saharan dust right here across a portion of the main development region. And we're also grateful that it's not a vigorous brown shade at all, because we know that the vigorous brown shade represent that vigorous plume of dust that we know can cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're indeed grateful that that is the forecast for 2 p.m. on Friday. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, given that there's a frontal system across portions of the southwestern Atlantic into the Gulf of Mexico, into the northwestern Caribbean as we speak, it makes sense that the seas are going to be choppy. We're seeing the dark blues into the purples into the pinks. It represents anywhere from 1.5 meter wave height all the way to 2 to maybe 3 meter wave heights for sure. Even right here to the north of Panama and Colombia, we see those high wave heights. We still see those high wave heights to the east of majority of the eastern Caribbean too. But regarding Jamaica's waves, tomorrow up to 0.8 of a meter wave height expected on the north coast. South coast up to 1.4 meter wave height, and that's because of the winds that are expected. Clearly the highest waves are being expected where we have the highest winds, and we see the bright greens into the yellows representing from 20 to 25 knots right here across the northern Bahamas, the Gulf of Mexico, the southern Caribbean, including the waters to the north of Panama and Colombia. So it all explains why the waves are so high. And regarding Jamaica's flow of the wind, clearly we see more of a northeasterly flow, so you know what that means. Maybe some relief rainfall, especially on the north coast, where we have all of those hills in St. Mary and Portland. We've been talking about the relief rainfall, and they've been getting this since October of last year, and they seem to be in for some more. So whatever comes off of the sea from the northeast could definitely bring some isolated showers to the north, especially during the morning hours. And we also see the blues across southern parishes. That's where all of the air could pile up for us to get some amount of isolated afternoon rainfall. And with the upper level winds still coming in from the west southwest, if we get some convection, we know those clouds are going to be streaked off towards that direction to the east northeast. Alright, so let's take a look at what's going to be happening regarding the rainfall forecast. Both the Euro and the GFS models at around 6 a.m. on Friday are showing some blues that represent rainfall. If not across eastern Jamaica, maybe St. Thomas, Portland, maybe the waters to the north and south of us. Very interesting. We see the waters out at sea right here to the north and to the south on both the Euro and the GFS models getting in some amount of rainfall. Maybe some of this could definitely meander and come inland. Let's see how it actually goes. Then by around 3 p.m. on Friday, look at the consensus for rainfall. It's definitely going to be across sections of some southwestern parishes, anywhere from maybe about the western end of Clarendon into Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, maybe even spilling into sections of Hanover, maybe southern St. James, maybe southern Trelawney getting in some of the action. We will see how it actually unfolds. Either way, in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast maps, not really having strong consensus with the where, but we see the rainfall totals only going up to at least 0.15 for an inch of rainfall on the GFS. The Euro going up to at least, some of the yellows maybe 0.25, 0.3 of an inch of rainfall across the eastern end. We'll definitely take it. We're in the month of February, and in February we usually receive up to at least 19 millimeters of rainfall in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, and in Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom. We usually receive up to 2.9 inches of rainfall for the month of February. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the month of February or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we still have those low level to mid level patches of clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We see some of these clouds passing through Puerto Rico, the Leeward Islands. We see the frontal system's clouds pushing through the Bahamas, northwestern Cuba, sections of Mexico into Guatemala. We see some strong thunderstorms also affecting sections of Panama and Costa Rica as we speak. Even sections of Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana getting in on some fair share of thunderstorm activity. And if we take a look at what's happening across the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening down there. Alright, we can see not much happening right now across the Leeward Islands, but look at southeastern Puerto Rico getting in on some isolated showers. And if we load these images from earlier today, we could see, well, we can see that we were getting in on some rainfall passing through Montserrat, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Guadeloupe. And we saw that we definitely got some decent rainfall across sections of Puerto Rico. Look at all of this across sections of central and northern Puerto Rico for sure. We see the greens into the yellows and oranges, maybe some moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall over there. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, not seeing much across Barbados right now. We do see some isolated hit or miss showers in the blues and slight greens, some of which passing to the north of Barbados right now, pushing towards Martinique, section of southern St. Lucia. Definitely got on some of the action. Not seeing much action across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not seeing much action across Trinidad and Tobago. But if we take a look at the weather via Doppler radar images, you can definitely see that rainfall associated with the frontal system across the Yucatan Peninsula, northern Guatemala as we speak. Even some isolated showers across section of Colombia. And for a brief moment, I think we saw something on the Trinidad and Tobago radar across section of eastern Venezuela. Maybe some action across section of southern Trinidad as we speak. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall over the next 24 hours should be plaguing those areas shaded in oranges and reds, maybe up to 1 inch of rainfall in store for section of the Yucatan, section of Belize, Honduras, especially the eastern portion, section of Nicaragua, section of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, southern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Trinidad. We also see some rainfall possibly in store for sections of the Dominican Republic for sure. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. Only that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.